Making videos and putting them on the internet for free for people to watch is a weird business model. Yet, a lot of people make a killing on YouTube. Hello, my name is Anthony Mendez, and in this video, I'm gonna explore the business of being a YouTube influencer. It's a very unusual thing to do, but it's very desirable. According to surveys today, kids rather be a YouTuber than a doctor. And interestingly enough, YouTubers make more money, in a lot of cases, not all, but in a lot of cases make more money than doctors, lawyers, and many other professionals. But it's likely that kids don't take this into account and are just looking for the popularity and fame, or being more like those people who they so much admire that they watch every day on YouTube. But anyway, let's try to understand the business of YouTube. So there are 5 main income sources for YouTubers. The first one being AdSense from YouTube. These are the ads, the 5-second ads that come out at the beginning of the video, and in many videos are throughout the video. The second income source is merchandise. Influencers selling shirts, mugs, and other stuff. The third income source is sponsors, companies paying influencers to give them a shout out in their video. The fourth is education. YouTubers making programs to sell to their audience about the topics they like. And the fifth is affiliates. These are links that people click on, and every time you do, the influencer makes a little commission off of that. Sometimes big commission, but most of the time little commission. Anyway, let's try to understand each one of these. The first one is ad revenue from YouTube AdSense. And this is very variable. Depending on your channel, the type of content you make, and your performance, you make different amounts. And for some YouTubers, this is a lot, and for some, it's insignificant. So YouTubers make money based on CPM, which is cost per thousand. This means that an advertiser will pay so much money for 1,000 views on your channel. Okay, so to understand this better, let's say that you had a $10 CPM. That means that an advertiser will pay $10 for every 1,000 views your channel gets. And like I mentioned, it varies a lot. Some channels make a couple of cents CPM, and some make up to $30 CPM. Now, the ones that make $30 CPM, they're very rare channels that make this much, but there's some that advertisers just go nuts about and pay a lot of money for. But most YouTubers don't make anywhere near the $30. It's a lot less. In fact, the average is around $6. But the basic rule is that usually a younger audience will have lower CPM. So if you're making videos about toy unboxings, you're not going to make a lot of money. If you're making vlogs, you're likely not going to make a lot of money. However, if you're making finance videos, you're likely going to make more money. If you're making videos on real estate, you're likely going to make more money because your audience is older and they're more likely to be desirable for advertisers. So to understand the massive difference between CPMs, let's go through a scenario. Let's imagine you got 100,000 views. If you make content for a very young audience, your CPM is likely very low. Let's say 32 cents. At this point, with 100,000 views, you'd make $32. That's pretty much nothing. It's insignificant. I mean, not terribly insignificant. $32 is still $32. But it's very little. For 100,000 views, that's a good chunk of views. But let's move on. If you bring it up to the estimated average of $6, that's $600 for 100,000 views. That's a good chunk of change now. At this point, YouTube AdSense probably becomes a significant source of income. But let's go higher. Let's go to a channel, let's say, about real estate or finance that is making a very high amount of $19. At $19, that would be $1,900. Okay, that's quite a bit of money. That's more than a bit of change. So you see, there is huge differences between channels that make very little in CPM and channels that make a lot. So depending on the channel, they rely more or less on the Google AdSense. So for these channels that make very little in AdSense, what can they do? How can they make more money, since really AdSense is not paying them enough to sustain doing YouTube full time? The next income source for YouTubers is merchandise. And fortunately so, this income source works best on a younger audience. Not too young, not babies, but a younger audience, maybe 15 and under. So for YouTubers like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, that make vlogs and things like that. These influencers make a lot of money off of merchandise. Advertisers don't pay much to advertise on these channels, but merchandise makes up for it. Sometimes even more than some of these other channels that make higher CPM. And this is really easy for influencers, as today there's services that take care of pretty much everything. You don't have to do anything pretty much. Back in the day, you would have to get employees, machines, press them, or you'd have to order in bulk from China, large amounts of inventory that may not sell. But today, it's all made to order. So if someone orders on your website, the company makes it, ships it out, does everything for you. You don't have to worry about a single thing, and the money just rolls in. So this becomes a really good income source for a lot of influencers that have a young fan base that are very invested in the image of the brand or whatever the influencer is doing. I don't know how to put it, but essentially they sell a lot of merchandise. The next income source is advertisers. Advertisers will pay you a certain amount to shout them out in your video or talk about them, depending on your audience size. If you make a video and you get a lot of views, likely that as advertisers will be very interested in your channel and pay you a lot of money. These sponsors range anywhere from $400 to $50,000 and sometimes even more. Now that's a really large range, but it usually depends on the audience size. So if you're a very small channel with maybe a couple thousand subscribers, you might make a couple $100. But once you start getting 100,000 subscribers, you might make maybe $1,000. Once you get 1 million subscribers, you might start making $5,000, $6,000, maybe even $10,000. Once you get really high, you have like 10 million subscribers, you might make upwards of $50,000 per sponsor, or maybe even more. You have to sign something that you're not going to disclose how much you were paid, so it's hard to get a sense of how much these advertisers pay, but it's around that range, but it's not exact. Depending on the company and the audience, this could be a serious income source for some YouTubers. Next is education, courses or programs. And this could be really big for some YouTubers. And many YouTubers are trying to capitalize this. Jake Paul infamously made courses on business that were laughable and very silly, but it likely made him quite a bit of money. But I would say he didn't make a ton of money. Some other creators have made a lot of money from course sales. Courses that provide excellent value, that have an audience that believes in them and what they're talking about. And I believe this is a really good income source for many YouTubers who are providing quality service. I'm not talking about gurus like Tai Lopez and anything like that. And I'm not endorsing anybody, so, don't, I'm not saying anything, okay? I'm just saying that YouTubers make money off of courses. I've seen some YouTubers that claim to make upwards of $6 million a year on courses. But these are likely the ones at the very high end. From there, it probably goes down. And most YouTubers on courses probably don't make nearly that much. Courses are usually more suitable for those people with education channels, with channels that are geared towards adults. And typically these channels have a higher CPM, so they're usually making a lot of money from YouTube AdSense in addition to their courses. So for some YouTubers, these two are their main income sources, as merchandise doesn't work too well for these education channels. It's not the case for everybody, but typically. Finally is income from affiliates. You've likely seen affiliates, and YouTubers talk about affiliates. For example, Audible. Every time you go to Audible off of a link from someone, they get paid a small commission. And also Amazon links. When they show a product and they're like, oh, it's down in the description below with Amazon, you go and buy it, they receive a small commission as well. Those are affiliates. And sometimes sponsors will combine a sponsorship with an affiliate, but typically they're not the same thing. So typically an affiliate is just a product that you endorse or talk about, and then you have a link in your description typically where someone will go and click on it, and this company will know that they came from your video and give you a little commission for the client. Usually this is for many products and services. You've likely heard of ones like Amazon, Audible. I believe Dollar Shave Club also does this with some creators, and a couple of other companies and services. Anyway, I hope you have a better understanding of how influencers make money. Some of these influencers are able to take advantage of all of these income sources and make ridiculous amounts of money. Some influencers make above $10 million a year. This is unbelievable. And This might be why it's so attractive to a lot of people, but I don't believe that it is quite the only reason. I believe a lot of people are looking for fame, for the popularity, or just to aspire to be more like those who they admire from the videos they watch. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.